The celebrant, having placed his joined hands on the altar and being bowed down, fixes his eyes on the sacred host.
Et quod donare digneris qui vivis et regnias Deus per omnia saecula saeculorum. Amen. Domine Iesu Christe, Filii Dei vivi, qui ex voluntate Patris cooperante Spiritus Sancto per mortem tuam mundum vivificasti, libera me per hoc sacrosanctum corpus et sanguinem tuum, ab omnibus iniquitatibus meis et universis malis, et fac me tuis semper inerere mandatis, et atenum quam separari permittas, qui cum eodem Deo Patre et Spiritus Sancto vivis et regnias Deus in saecula saeculorum. Amen. Perceptio corporis tui, Domine Iesu Christe, quod ego indenius sumere presumo, non mihi proveniat in judicium et condemnationem, sed pro tua pietate prosit mica tutamentum mentis et corporis, et ad medelam percipiendam, qui vivis et regnias cum Deo Patre in unitate Spiritus.
Before receiving Holy Communion, he genuflects, redresses himself, and says,
Panem celestem accipiam et nomen Domini invocabo.
He holds the host between the thumb and index finger of his left hand. Then he slips the paten under the host and holds the paten with the 3 remaining fingers. Being bowed down, he strikes his breast 3 times, saying,
Domini non sum dignus ut in tres subtectum meum, sed tantum di verbo et sanabitur anima mea. Domini non sum dignus ut in tres subtectum meum, sed tantum di verbo et sanabitur anima mea.
He places the right hand half of the sacred host over the left, and takes them both in his right hand. He makes the sign of the cross with them. Then, keeping his forearms on the altar and being bowed down, the celebrant reverently receives the sacred host. He puts the paten on the corporal, joins his hands, redresses himself, remains for a little while in meditation of the Most Holy Sacrament.
Panem celestem accipiam et nomen Domini invocabo.
Let us have another look at this.
Domini non sum dignus ut in tres subtectum meum, sed tantum di verbo et sanabitur anima mea. Domini non sum dignus ut in tres subtectum meum, sed tantum di verbo et sanabitur anima mea. Domini non sum dignus ut in tres subtectum meum, sed tantum di verbo et sanabitur anima mea. Corpus Domini nostri Iesu Christi, custodiat anima meam in vitam aeternam. Amen.
The celebrant uncovers the chalice and genuflects.
Qui retribuam Domino pro omnibus que retribuit mihi.
He then takes the paten and gathers up whatever particles of the sacred host may remain on the corporal. He carefully purifies the paten with the thumb and index finger of his right hand over the chalice, rubbing his thumb and finger together over the chalice too. Still holding the paten in his left hand, the celebrant takes the chalice with his right.
Calicem salutaris accipiam et nomen Domini invocabo. Laudans invocabo Dominum et abilimicis meis salvus ero.
He signs himself with the chalice, saying,
Sanguis Domini nostri Iesu Christi, custodiat anima meam in vitam aeternam. Amen.
Holding the paten under his chin, he reverently receives the precious blood and a particle of the sacred host which is in it. He replaces both the paten and the chalice on the corporal and then covers the chalice. If Holy Communion is to be distributed, the celebrant, having covered it with the pall, places the chalice towards the back of the left-hand side of the corporal. He opens the tabernacle, genuflects, and takes out the ciborium, which he then uncovers. Once the Confiteor has been recited, the celebrant genuflects, and turning partly towards the congregation, says aloud the Misereatur Vestri and the Indulgentium. He takes the ciborium in his left hand and one of the sacred hosts between the thumb and index finger of his right. He turns towards the congregation and says aloud,
Ex agnus Dei ex sequitoris peccata mundi,
and then says 3 times,
intre subtectum meum, sed tantum de verbo et sanabitur anima mea. Domini non sum Deus ut intre subtectum meum, sed tantum de verbo et sanabitur anima mea. Domini non sum Deus ut intre subtectum meum.
The celebrant then distributes Holy Communion, saying aloud the words,
Corpus Domini nostri Iesu Christi, custodiat animam tuam in vitam aeternam. Amen.
He returns to the altar, genuflects, covers the ciborium, and replaces it in the tabernacle. He genuflects, then closes and locks the tabernacle.